I remember a lot of my friends when they first picked up an instrument or when they first started a band, it felt amazing to see my own friend on stage playing at a venue and kind of like a rock star, what we thought was a rock star back then.
What I like about music is like a heartfelt sincerity, which I think you find a lot more in people who are searching for, you know, like where they're going with their music.
If you don't want just McDonald's, then you have to open a local shop. If you don't want just to listen to music from somewhere else that doesn't come through town, it's important to support your locals.
Every band starts as a local band, so it's good to support that because that's what you listen to, and it's just important because those people are working so hard and not making money off of it usually. They're just doing it because they love music.
Something that comes naturally out of people. It's something that they want to produce, even if they're not getting paid to do it.
There's this whole like DIY culture of being able to do anything yourself, do it yourself, and that's really empowering to be able to like set up a whole show, create a space where people are having fun and are able to discover new music.
It's all about the community, and I think it's funny because we can like outstretch the community so far because when the bands come to town, we do completely like engross them in our community. We invite them over before the shows start, and afterwards they're usually staying here at Hotel Carolina at this point.
Hotel Carolina.
Let's play a song now. Well up.
I love house shows. I love the idea of like walking into somebody's kitchen and there's a band stuffed into the corner of it and there are 30 people jam-packed in the hall, you know, and they're spilling out into the living room and everyone's just trying to see what's happening. You know, that is just so raw to me.
The downsides for house venues is that it's someone's home, so you're disrupting their home life.
Just saying, I saw the floor moving a little bit when Dog Ears was playing, so I guess just don't go too crazy because we don't want the floor collapsing at our second show.
It's important to have a local music venue that's not somebody's house just because it's really hard to just have shows very frequently when it's at your house because you're also living there.
Show houses like Franklin Manor and Shark Tank have been the lifeblood of Tallahassee's music scene for a long, long time. But I'm 39, and when I go to a house show, I feel like somebody's creepy older uncle standing in the kitchen with a beer. And that's no fun. And so we need both.
Having a space that you feel like you can call your own and that you feel like you can make a difference is really important. In any community, it doesn't just have to be punk music.
It's a lot to process.
I mean, that spot right there was a venue, it was Farside, and now it's a franchise Grapevine.
That space closed down because the person who owned that building moved away, and he sold it to somebody who turned it into a Grapevine. And that's a local business, you know, a local chain, but it's still a little bit hurts when you like go inside and remember where all of these shows used to happen and all the crazy stuff that used to happen. After that, the same 5 people that were pretty much running the Farside, they decided to open a music venue called the Hidden Hand, and that's where Phase 1 Skate Shop is right now.
Our original idea was that we were going to do a bar and that we were really going to have it be legit with all the proper licensing and the insurance and you know, the beer permits and stuff like that. And we quickly realized that there were a lot of obstacles to doing that, and most of them were monetary. Some of them were bureaucratic, you know, a lot of red tape. So while we were figuring all that out, we were kind of just just doing shows there, which was great because that's really all we wanted to do. And we started doing shows, and we did 75 illegal shows before we got shut down. So it was pretty awesome. Pete the Venue was another venue that opened up recently, and it was almost a, it was almost a spiritual successor to places like the Far Side and Hidden Hand, and it was successful. I mean, they did Kickstarters and stuff like that, and a lot of people were really interested, and it kind of went the same way as the Hidden Hand, unfortunately.
We had an Indiegogo that raised over $4,000 to make money to make repairs for the space, and it got fulfilled within the 30 days that we had to make it happen. And the community was very, very, very supportive of it. And it was a great thing that, good idea to have and start. But the issue with every venue that I've talked about so far is that it wasn't up to code. It needed a sprinkler system put in, it needed different paint, you needed to build an entire bathroom area and build more of a closet, so it cut the capacity down. It took over $10,000 to do the repairs that it already had, and it still got shut down.
The typical scenario of a DIY venue is much like a broke person living paycheck to paycheck, living show to show, rent to rent, just trying to get by. So when they say you need to spend $10,000 on a sprinkler system, more often than not, the DIY venue goes oh, well, I guess we're going back to the house shows then. Maybe if it's not within, the city's kind of development plan to include you specifically, maybe it's going to be a lot harder, than you think to open something like that up. And inevitably, Pete also got shut down by the city.
It's got a profit that's coming around, and the college kids want to come in, and the gentrification starts happening, and so the city just needs to let it be and just chill.
Problem of gentrification in Tallahassee is real. I mean, if we're going to talk about traditional gentrification, then that is definitely happening. I mean, lower income housing is being demolished. Underrepresented communities are being practically ignored. Tallahassee, for being such a liberal city, seems to be in a lot of denial about what is going on. There's not much of an understanding about what it means to have real things, authentic things. So maybe in a lot of ways, gentrification is directly at odds with doing DIY music venues, because DIY music venues aren't interested in being money machines. They're interested in subsistence. They're interested in inclusivity, not exclusivity. You know what I mean? The idea of gentrification is exclusivity.
All the local community DIY spaces were really special, and it's very sad that they didn't survive so far, but that could change. I don't know.
It's something to learn from, and it's something definitely to remember and appreciate that it was around, and kind of show that Tallahassee has a lot of heart and knows that and supports any sort of endeavor that is trying to make the Tallahassee community better.
Every time a new venue opens, people reinvent the wheel, and they all fall prey to the same things, to the same codes, and the same landlords, literally sometimes. And that's the most important thing, I think, is to find out what went wrong before you and then build from there.
It's a town that always surprises you. Every turn, every 6 months is different. But as far as the DIY culture, it's definitely built on what happened before it and has yet to completely disappear and start from ground zero.
I mean, I think that the community can do like a couple of things, you know, they can just keep doing what they're doing.
I think the city should definitely be more helpful with trying to make a community space last in Tallahassee.
Take on some of these, like, you know, government roles and advocate for you know, real art movements. Of course, the other thing is like complete social revolution, you know.
When you do it right and you do it like genuinely with a lot of passion, people recognize that, they support it, and they're ready to help however they can in whatever capacity they can.
I think probably what I would choose is just make music and art in your own spaces, and you know, and do it as an affront to what they're trying to do, you know.